Hello, everyone, and welcome to our afternoon breakout session. Critical thinking, new approaches to problem solving. My name's John Monroe. I'm the director of content at GovLoop, and I hope you guys watch our lunch keynote. If you didn't, you definitely want to watch it on demand. But I also hope that you got some lunch. There's still a lot of great content to come, and so you want to be fortified. So, have you ever heard someone say, "This is the way we've always done things"? If you're in government, you've probably heard that a lot. It's why certain policies and procedures haven't been updated in 100 years. I'm pretty sure that's not an exaggeration in some cases. But yes, we know that in some cases, it's essential that things stay the same, but often we get lulled into with a kind of a sense of complacency. We do things a certain way and we stop asking why. That's where critical thinking comes in. Today, our expert will share some new approaches to critical thinking and problem solving that can help us kind of go that neutral zone and really start asking that question why and really start moving things. Before we get to that great content, I do have a few housekeeping items I want to cover. If you've been here today, these are probably familiar, but if you're on Twitter, or that case may be, we'd love to know what you learned. Please use the hashtag NextGenGov to share your takeaways. We'll have some resources available for you to download, including the slide for this session. You can find those resources in the resource module on the right-hand side. And of course, we hope you don't have any technical difficulties, but we know that happens. And if it does, don't worry, just send a message through the Q&A tab and my colleague Jessica will help you out. And of course, you can use that same Q&A tab to submit questions to our speaker. And you can do that at any time. She really wants the session to be interactive. So, also speaking of being interactive, we put that available for you, where you can interact not just with the speaker, but with your fellow attendees. You'll find that on the top left of your screen. And don't be shy, because your voice is really an important part of this event. And, if you have to step away at any time during this session or during any session today, don't worry about it. We'll email you a link to the entire event tomorrow. That'll go directly to your inbox so you can look for that. And finally, I wanted to let you know that we are giving out 1 CPE credit for your participation in today's session, but you need to do 3 things to get that credit. 1, stay and participate for the entire session. 2, take all the polls. And 3, fill out that post-event CPE evaluation form. And you can find that evaluation form in the resource module on your console or at in the resource center in the main environment. And all CPEs will be emailed directly to you once we've confirmed you've met all the requirements. All right, with all that housekeeping out of the way, let me introduce you to our expert. Joining us is Mellissa Tong, an award-winning storyteller and an expert on critical thinking. Thank you so much for being here. Mellissa, I'll turn things over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, John, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I know I cannot see your faces, but there's a Q&A box. So feel free to put in your questions, put in any comments, and I want this to be interactive. Okay, so today we're going to talk about new approaches to problem solving. Now, why do humans have problems? Can anyone tell me that? So John and Jessica, I'm going to help, need your help reading the, if anybody asks.
So feel free to put your answers into the attendee chat. So why do humans have problems? Put your answers in the attendee chat. We'll share those.
Yeah, I want to see why do you think as humans we have problems? Do we have any answers?
Not yet, but I know there's also a slight delay.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, everything is a process, not every solve. Differences in perception. Those are a couple responses we've gotten.
Okay, all very good. Okay, so feel free to continue to chime in. All right, so We have problems because, number one, we all have different upbringings, right? We grew up in different areas, different environments. And because we have different upbringings, we all have our individual ideas about how things should be done, how things can be done, how things, how we continue to do things. So, and lastly, as humans, we're scared to change. Can anyone resonate with that? Right? Put in the chat box. So because we have different upbringings with individual ideas and we are scared to change. How many of you have heard we are creatures of habits? How many of you have heard that? I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. So because of that, we usually are not the first in order to adapt and make changes. So that's why here today, I want to introduce a holistic approach to problem solving. I don't want to just give you, the 5 steps, follow these 5 steps, and you're going to be able to do problem solving, because you can read all about that on the internet. So I want to do something a little bit different, okay? All right, so I'm going to share some employee data with you guys. 85% experience some kind of a problem at work. That's a huge number. And then 29% nearly constantly experience problems. And then 9% have seen projects fail because of problems. Now, how many of you have seen projects fail because of problems? Can I get a maybe yes or no from the Q&A?
Yeah, so folks, go ahead and in the attendee chat, go ahead and put your response. Have you seen it? Have you seen projects fail? I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Good. Thank you for participating. Mostly bad project management. Yes. Yeah, implemented. Okay. Wow, very nice. Teamwork collapse. Okay. Wow, okay. Thank you for answering me. All right, so now let's look at how we can solve that. So the 3 big takeaways you're going to get today is, number 1, compassion. Number 2, emotional IQ. And number 3, vulnerability. Okay, and we're going to go through each one of those. So I'm going to share with you about my background. And there's a reason why I want to share with you my background. So I was a music composition major. And after I finished my MFA degree, I got a job as a TV newscaster at one of the very first satellite TV stations in the US called the International Channel. And because I was a newbie, they decided, instead of sending me to cover plane crashes, accidents, and all sorts, they said, okay, we're going to give you a daily 5-minute human interest segment where you can do anything you want. Just bring back something interesting. So I was on the job for 4 years, interviewed thousands of people from all walks of life, including all the ordinary people all the way to Hollywood celebrities, and then ended up crafting over 1,200 on-air stories. Now, so all in all, I have almost 30 years of experience, both in front of and behind the camera experience. And after my news job, I worked on a CBS primetime scripted show before I started my own company, Duck Punk. And at Duck Punk, for years, I was producing and directing TV commercials and branded content for some of the Fortune 100 companies, such as Nissan, Verizon, Wells Fargo, just to name a few. And we have worked with major celebrities such as Shaq, Bryan Cranston, Keke Palmer, Jackie Chan, just to name a few. And some of our big clients I already mentioned. So why am I telling you this? There's a reason. Because we only know what we know. So that was my world. So that's all I know. And I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. So that's why I want to share that our views are shaped by our upbringings, environments, and other people's opinions. How many times we thought, oh, we're going to do something. And then we talk to our close friends, maybe we talk to our colleagues, maybe we talk to our family members, and then they tell us what? Maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. Oh, maybe later. I mean, we constantly are bombarded, with people's opinions. And all these shape the way we think about things, the way we tackle problems, the way we solve problems. So here is the first poll.
All right. So the first question is, have you ever changed your mind because of something someone said? And your choices are always, only sometimes. Mellissa, what do you think? What's been your experience?
I think the answer would be always, but I could be wrong. I definitely have changed my mind because of something somebody said. It's unfortunate, but we all have done that.
But it takes courage to kind of to admit that maybe what you thought before wasn't right.
Exactly.
Or it takes courage to keep what you're thinking, even if someone disagrees.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of critical thinking. So let's give people some time. Oh, good. Only sometimes. Wow. Okay. This is a very good group. I'm pleasantly surprised. Very nice. 94.7% say only sometimes. Okay. Oops, did I go too far? Okay, good. Okay, so I want to sort of talk a little bit more about this piece. So it really takes courage to be able to listen to somebody, take that into consideration. But at the same time, we all have our gut feelings. So sometimes because of, societal influence, media influence, whatever influence that's going on, we ignore our gut feelings and we listen to somebody else. So if you guys only do that sometimes, that's very, very good news. So keep doing that. Keep trusting your own instincts and believing in, your own decision in solving whatever problems you have to solve. And that will lead to better results. Okay, so I'll further illustrate my point about this. So I was born and I was raised in Hong Kong, a British colony at the time. So that was me probably around 3 years old. And my upbringing, like I said, I was a music composition major and I played piano for the longest time. And then I was also teaching children's choir. I was a choir conductor for 3 different choirs. And so my world, because of my upbringing, because of, what I've been doing, so when you talk to me about any creative ideas, it's very easy for me to relate and find it relevant. But if you put me in front of somebody who has a very technical background, for example, engineering, financials, math, numbers, right? I will be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And I might have a hard time really understanding what you're trying to tell me. So my point is, like I said, we only know what we know. So how do we do it when we're sitting in front of somebody who is so different from us and who may or may not really understand, our main domain? So that leads to my first tip. Listen with compassion. So we all know how hard it is to really communicate, what we want our colleagues to achieve. And sometimes we want to arrive at the result so passionately because we want always, our common goal, of course, is to get certain things done, right? To get this project done, to do it, the most efficient and economic way possible. But at the end of the day, if we don't listen, especially listen with compassion, then sometimes we may overlook another person's, opinion. So like I said, we should all trust our gut feelings and we should go with what we feel is right. But when we sit together at the table, we need to be able to hear each other, especially listen with compassion. Because if we don't listen with compassion, it's going to cause conflicts. And so now let's look at what compassion really means. So what is compassion? Can anyone tell me what is compassion in the Q&A?
Okay, we're waiting. I'm not sure my Q&A is working for me.
Oh, I see one answer, empathy. Yes. Unqualified positive regard, concern. Yes. Kindness. Very good. Understanding, empathy, involvement. Yes, I equate it with empathy. Empathy. Good. Very good. Caring about the other person. Sympathy, listening. Wow. You guys are great at answering. Thank you. Yes, all good. Giving the other person benefit of the doubt. Yes, very much so. Put self in other people's shoes. Wow. Very good. Relating another person's circumstances, listening. Oh, somebody said the Q&A is not working. Caring, empathy, understanding. Yes. Humane. A feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for someone who's suffering. Yes. Wow, you guys are great. Very smart audience. To suffer together, caring. Empathy is the feeling, compassion is action. Yes, wow. James, right on. Okay. So compassion is the feeling of concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. So how do we achieve listening with compassion? So this is the how. And some of you may have been practicing already. So the first one is listen without judgment. And this is something that is very hard for us to do as human beings because we are so quick to jump to judgment. Every time we hear something, we automatically jump to judgment. So it is a muscle that we really have to pay attention and exercise. Because, just like going to the gym, right? If you have never lifted weights before, even 2 pounds may be very heavy. But if you keep on doing it, that 2 pounds will eventually become 20 pounds or maybe eventually 200 pounds. I don't know, right? But really listening without judgment is a skill set that we all can learn how to do better. So the next one is don't make assumptions. Now we all assume, somebody is from, somewhere, they may know this, they may not know this. Again, we human beings are so quick to make judgments and assumptions. So don't make assumptions. And then the third one is be neutral. So when we try to hold off on jumping to judgment or jumping to assumptions is be in a neutral space. Let the person finish what they want to tell you. So don't make any assumptions just yet. Just really be there, be present, listen, and then hold off. It's hard. So that's why it's a muscle that has to be exercised. So hold off to jumping into any assumptions. And then this is a big one. Do not criticize. It is so easy when we hear another person's, feedback or suggestions, then immediately we jump to a assumption and then we think, oh, they're just criticizing us. But no, a lot of times they are not criticizing. But at the same time, if you do want to make a suggestion, try to do it from a neutral space so that the other person who's receiving your suggestion doesn't feel like you're trying to criticize them. So it's a really fine line, but we can do it. Now, the next one is find a common ground. Because no matter what, oops, sorry, click too fast. Oh, do I have to do it all over again to have this up? Okay, sorry, guys. Okay, all right. So these are the 5 steps. Find a common ground because at the end of the day, what are we doing, right? At the end of the day, we're here because there's a project we need to finish. There's a task on hand we need to tackle. And as a team, as a department, right, as a company, we all have to work together. So when you have conflicts, it's easy to dissolve the conflict by finding a common ground. And if everyone works toward the common ground, and again, listen with compassion, we can truly avoid more conflicts and solve any problem at hand so that we can arrive at the same conclusion, which is getting this project done in the most efficient way possible. So that's the first tip. And second tip is practice emotional IQ. Now, who can put in the Q&A again about what they think emotional IQ is?
And just, I'm having a little trouble seeing the open chat, so
No, that's okay. I've been able to see it. Yes. I'm loving you guys. You guys are so great in answering. So awareness, okay? Knowing your own limits, be aware. The ability to listen and understand outside of yourself and ego. Wow, that's a great answer. Mindfulness, very good. Active listening, empathy, self-awareness, and managing emotions of self and others. Wow. Christina, that's a great answer. How well you can control your emotion, that's also very good, Donald. Awareness, being balanced, okay? Having a balance on how to react and respond, very good. How much to share and who to share. Being aware of my emotions and emotions of those I'm interacting with, very good answer, Lisa. Knowing yourself, being mature, very good, non-judgmental, self-awareness, empathy. Okay, wow, this is also very good. Understanding triggers. Wow, you guys are an excellent audience. You guys are so smart. Understanding triggers, maturity. Okay, mindfulness, not cultural bias. Yes, cultural bias for sure exists. Wow, I really like this one. Objectiveness. Great answer. Managing your emotions, triggers, self-awareness. Be aware. Wow. Social intelligence. Wow. Great answer, Dustin. Knowing limitation. Objectiveness. Very good. Wow. Jerry says stay in the moment. Wow. Very nice. Oh, I like this one. Count to 10 before responding. Wow. That's a great tip, you guys. Count to 10 before responding. Our ability to understand, use, and manage our own emotions in positive ways. Yes. Not reacting in a negative way. Yes. Wow. Not allowing passion outweigh priority. Yes, very true. Have a mindful presence. Wow, you guys, this is great. Okay, so emotional IQ, your ability to recognize and understand emotions and using this awareness to manage yourself and relationships with others. You guys already answered this. You guys are great. So how do we do that? So number one, be sensitive to your colleagues' feelings. Now, this one is easy for somebody, but it's not so easy for others. So we all, our own level of sensibility is very different. So some people are very sensitive to other people's emotions and some people are not as sensitive. So I'm asking all of you guys from now on, try to be a little bit more sensitive. Now, if you're on the sensitive side and you already can pick up other people's feelings, then okay, you're good, right? But not everyone has this, muscle exercise before. So if you find yourself, oh, maybe I'm not the most sensitive, that's okay. You can practice. So really just be like a lot of these answers here, really be present, really be in the moment, and really try to listen and be sensitive to your colleagues' feelings. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't jump to judgment, right? Don't jump to assumptions. Everything kind of works, very well together. So be sensitive. And the next thing is be encouraging. Now, again, so sometimes, some people are very good with encouraging and always be on the positive side, but not everybody has that sort of character traits, built in. sometimes, because we get busy and then we just forget. So I'm encouraging you guys, when you're in a meeting or when you try to, solve problems together at work, always, instead of pick the negative, it's not feeling, instead of just saying something negative, try to be encouraging. If your colleague is, having trouble, or they say, I don't know how to meet this deadline, or or I'm having trouble, doing this or that. Well, try to encourage them. Hey, is there anything you need? Is there anything I can help you with? And if not, that is not something you can do, maybe grab a couple of colleagues, try to solve this problem together. Always encouraging each other, because there's so much negativity out in the world. And I want to encourage people to bring more, positivity into the workplace, and shut out all the negativity, leave it outside the door. So make your workplace a more sanctuary place, and everybody can really, truly encourage and support each other. Now, the next one is, again, sort of, very similar to encouraging. Be positive. Be positive. Because we get beat down so easily by social media, by the media, by so many things happening in the world. So if we all put our positive energy, positive feelings, positive feedback into, ourselves, into, with each other in the workplace, we can definitely solve problems a lot easier and quicker. All right, the next one is try to understand the other person's point of view. And again, this goes back to listening, right? Listening with compassion. Count to 10, right? One of you said count to 10 before responding. If you're not sure about how to respond, then just say, well, I'm not exactly sure what's the best way to do this, or I'm not sure what exactly I can comment on this matter. So let me think on that and respond to you later. You see? So you can tell them, okay, I don't really have an answer right now, but let me think on it, or let me maybe consult with some of the colleagues or another team, and then we'll come back together and look at this again, right? So try to always stay on the positive and give a positive, encouraging, answer, instead of, oh, I don't know, find your own way of doing it, or something, less positive. So the next one is, don't put your colleagues down or be dismissive. Now, this is so just so common at workplace, because we are so, we have so many deadlines at work. And sometimes we work so hard to try to, finish a project and then jump to the next one. So when you catch somebody in the middle of something, and sometimes that you may come across dismissive. I know it's not really your most natural way of communicating. But sometimes, because like I said, we get so caught up, we forget. So try to be mindful, like some of you said in the Q&A, try to be mindful, try to stay in the present. And then when somebody asks you a question, pause. If you can count to 10, at least count to 3 or count to 5, right? 1, 2, 3. And then make sure that, you kind of like recompose yourself before you give a big feedback, or before you actually something that can seem to be, come across to be negative or less encouraging. Okay? All right. So tip number 3, be vulnerable. Now, again, who can tell me what being vulnerable is in the Q&A? What does that mean to you? Be vulnerable. Sensitive, okay. Authenticity, okay. Open and transparent. Very good. Being your true self. Opening up, being you. True, open and honest. Very good. Willing to admit to another, to being human. Okay. Letting God down. I like this. Acceptable of another's ideas and thoughts. Very good. Being open, opening up. I like this one too by Kimberly, sharing personal experiences opening up. Wow, I like this one a lot too. Take a risk, not to be afraid to take a risk. Very good. Open-minded. Letting down your guard, being open to others. Willing to share when you're not at your best. Wow, I love this answer, Monica. Accepting conflicting opinion to your own. This is very good. Fantasy. Willing to expose yourself. Great answer, Chris. Authentic, sharing. Set my barriers down and engage in dialogue. Very good, Cindy. Wow, allow emotions to flow. Very good, Monica. Trusting others. Great answer, Jeffrey. Okay, be my authentic self, open to others. Put yourself out there. This is good. Wow, this is a great one. Allow yourself to be open and recognize when we're not perfect and right at all the time. Good answer, Stephen. Dropping your guard. Being real. Wow. Being open to others' feedback. Very good. Being open to change. Yes. Putting down your armor. Very good, Nancy. Well, this is another good one. Being willing to expose your faults and deficiencies to others. Angela. Breaking down walls. Very good. Admitted failure. Wow. You guys are so great. So, be vulnerable. What is vulnerability? It is the capability of admitting failure and weakness, not afraid of being exposed to being criticized or attacked, both physically and emotionally. Now, I pull these from, the Webster's Dictionary. So this is a very tough one for a lot of people because we are raised, not to admit weakness. A lot of people associate vulnerability to being weak, but in reality, it's actually the opposite. It takes tremendous courage and bravery to admit that I'm not at my best. My ideas suck. I don't have great ideas about this. I don't know how to do this, right? I have no clue how to finish this project. I don't understand the perimeters set in this project. I have a hard time communicating what I need to my colleagues, right? Everything that I said, it's about admitting that we're not the strongest. But by admitting you're not the strongest or you don't know what you don't know, it actually is the strongest and bravest thing you can ever do for yourself and others. Because when you're able to admit vulnerability, that means you're opening up and you're letting other people see that, hey, you're here, no one is perfect, right? No one is perfect. We all need help from time to time. But being able to share that and opening up and being our authentic self, like some of you said, it really opens the door for other people to come in and help you. Because if you always say, oh, I know everything, I don't know if you know people who are like that. I know people who are like that. They're like, every time somebody asks a question, they're the first answer. Oh, I know that. I've read that. Oh, I know the answer. Oh, I know this, blah, blah, blah. After a while, it's actually tiring because we cannot know everything in the world. So there are areas that I don't know, right? So like I said, I'm a creative person. If you talk to me about all the technical stuff, I may not be the first to respond because I just don't know. So when you're able to really open up and be vulnerable and share that, hey, you know what? I really don't know how to do this. Then you actually are letting people to step in to help you. Okay, so let's look at a quote from Brené Brown. So I don't know if you're aware of Brené Brown. She's a professor. I forget. I think she's in Austin. She teaches at a university, and she did a great TED talk. And I include a link in my PowerPoint. You want to check it out later. And this is a quote from her about vulnerability. She said, "Uncertainty, risk, and exposure the unusual feeling we get when we step out of our comfort zone that forces us to loosen control. That's her quote about and her interpretation of vulnerability. So being vulnerable is really about stepping out of our comfort zone. And when we step out of our comfort zone, how do we feel? We feel like we don't have control anymore because we, like I said, we know what we know, right? So that's within our control. But once you step outside of that and then you admit to other people like, oh, you know what? I really don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know how to do this. I need help, right? Then all of a sudden you feel like you don't have control anymore. But again, that is just the it's not easy to do, like I said, but it's the most beneficial way when you're tackling very difficult conflicts and problems. So let's look at a few ways in terms of how we can do that. Number one, be humble. Like I said, I know people who are like Mr. Know-it-all, Miss Know-it-all, Mrs. Know-it-all. We cannot know everything. So be humble and then admit failure. I really don't know how to do this. Or, hey, I failed miserably with the last project. Can anyone give me some what's the word I'm looking for? Constructive feedback about how I can do it better next time. So admit failure. Number three, show weakness. Again, being able to show vulnerability is the most bravest thing you can do. So vulnerability doesn't equate to weakness. So show weakness. It's okay, because when you're able to be humble, show weakness, and when the other person, it's not jumping to conclusion, it's not judging you by showing weakness, then you can accomplish a lot together and find a common ground. So the next one, willingness to receive constructive feedback. Now, some people are better at receiving feedback and some people are not very good at receiving feedback. Sometimes people may think, wow, I'm just being criticized. No, you're not being criticized, and also be a little bit mindful when you give criticism, right? So come at it from a place of, I want to help you. And this is what I think might help in this situation. So try to be mindful of the choice of words to use so it doesn't come across, being criticism. The next one is together it's better. We cannot do everything on our own. We live in a society, and as human beings, we crave human interactions. To actually come together to finish a task, everyone needs to be involved. So together is always better. Now, think about it. If you have a win, if you win something or you get something done, right? Who do you want to celebrate with? Yourself? What's the fun of that, right? You want to celebrate with people. You want to celebrate with your friends, with your family, with, every time you have a birthday. You don't want to celebrate alone, right? So we crave human interaction. That's why together is better. We celebrate together, right? We're fun together. So when we have problems, we tackle the problem together as a team. So that's why together is always better. Okay, next poll.
All right. So we have the 3 takeaways. So here's the question, and this is the big question. Do you think you can make the changes? Yes, no, maybe sometimes. So what do y'all think? Go ahead and start putting in your responses. So Mellissa, it feels like, this is kind of a different approach to critical thinking, but it seems like it's a little more kind of plugged into how we are and less about, do you think that this is something easier for people to adapt to? Oh, I think I have lost.
Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yep.
No, I was saying thank you for putting the correct answer in the Q&A. So Brené Brown is a research professor at the University of Houston. I know it's somewhere in Texas, so thank you for putting that up there. And somebody put in a link for Simon Sinek's book, Together is Better. See, thank you for the link. You guys are such great audience. So somebody said make the change because it is needed for the best. Yes. Very human-centered approach, yes.
Okay, so
Okay, did everyone have a
answers
chance
are
to?
still coming in.
Okay, great. You presented some food of thought. Installing all this into our brains will take exercise of this principle. Yes, that's why it's like a muscle. Exactly, a muscle that has to be exercised. The more you use it, the more the muscle will become stronger, and then eventually it will become automatic. Change is always hard, but a rewarding journey. Very well said. Change is good for the soul. Wow. Thank you, Anne. Yes, absolutely. This will
Yeah, it
take
looks like
discipline
people are
for
pretty
sure. Wow.
people are pretty confident about their ability to do this.
Very good. Yay. I'm so happy that you guys are willing to make the changes to be better. Yes. Very, very good. Okay. We'll keep going. All right. So how do we really change the way we think? So we talked about the 3 principles, and most of you said, hey, I'm willing to do it. So I will give you one more food for thought on how to be consistent to exercise this muscle. Everything is by choice. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. So to me, everything is by choice, meaning in every given moment, we can make the decision to do it, to have a do-over. Meaning, okay, in the last, let's say yesterday, if yesterday I tried to finish a project, maybe I didn't do such a good job in terms of communicating what I needed from my team, or maybe I jumped to a conclusion too quickly. Maybe I judged someone too quickly. Maybe I wasn't being a compassionate listener. Maybe I failed at everything that I've said, right? But you know what? Today is a new day. Today, I'm going to make a decision to practice all of these principles all over again. So yesterday is already done. I can't take back what I did wrong, but I can make a new choice so that I can begin today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow by making a new decision on committing myself to doing this the new way. So that's what I mean by everything is by choice. Now, a lot of people didn't realize everything is by choice. They think, oh, I'm stuck with this. I'm stuck with this old belief. I'm stuck with doing things the old way. I'm stuck with, I'm stuck with this rule. I'm stuck, right? But no, rules are there so that people won't kind of do things too crazily. But everybody has a choice, and everything is by choice. Even if I feel like, oh, I didn't do that well the last minute, starting in this minute, I can do better. So you can decide by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, year by year. So every day, every minute, every moment, you can decide, okay, I'm going to try and practice again so I can be better at it. Okay? And every one of you can do it. So it's really about having the awareness. And we can, like I said, we can start anew and choose differently every single time. So even if you fail, it's okay. We can do it again, better. Later today, tomorrow, 2 days later, right? Next month, we can always start anew. That's the beauty of exercising a new muscle, as long as you don't fall off. Okay, so in my presentation, I always leave a little bit of time to do a live audience participation. Since you guys are such good audience, I don't think I will have a problem with this. So I would like to dedicate a few minutes to have you guys put in a very a difficult problem maybe you're experiencing right now at work. Put it in the chat if you have something you feel like, oh, wow, I don't know how to solve this. So let's try to do it together. Or you have an example from recent past, last week, last month, that you're able to achieve something with a new method, also put in the chat. So I will share with everybody.
Okay, yeah, so if you have one, please go ahead and share that in the chat, and then we can talk about it.
I love these comments. Think of the consequences of your choices. Do the next right thing. Yes, it is an investment in ourselves, absolutely. And change is a choice. It cannot be mandatory, absolutely. Great answer, Anne. Have awareness of self and then choose how you show up. Great answer, Christina. Okay, so we have a first question here. I have been laid off twice in the last year, and I have a really hard time trusting. Okay, this is a tough one. Let me think. Okay, can you elaborate a little bit? So when you said you have a hard time trusting, do you mean you have a hard time trusting people in general, or trusting the people who said you may be a good candidate but not end up hiring you? Can you be a little bit more specific so I can address that better? Okay, so we'll go to the next one first and then we'll come back. Management will not easily train, but go to specific people to do special projects and other not included and cannot learn and grow from experience. Wow, okay. Okay, so management are not willing to train. Okay, so I don't know how big your team is. So I would encourage you get together with your team and then go to management as a team and say, we really love to participate in special projects. Now, I understand you may not think that we're adequate to finish these projects, and I understand maybe because of deadline, you want to bring in, specific people or take the project to a specific team. But if we don't get a chance to work on projects like this, we cannot really grow as a team. So next time when you have something similar, can you include us in this project so we can work concurrently with the special people so that we can learn from them? And then when you have future projects like this in the future, we can be more efficient and can tackle the project in a much more efficient way. So try that and see what happens. The next one, don't make more of the issue. Don't make more of the issue than is worth. Okay. Picking up self after falling and try again. Okay. Oh, somebody said the messages are not acknowledged. Don't know if it works. Okay, I'll try to read everyone. Okay, so this is an example. An individual is not included as part of a team. How can that individual change this perspective? Okay, so I don't exactly know what the context is, but I would encourage this individual go to the immediate team leader or manager or supervisor and share this with the supervisor or team leader and say, I really like to grow and learn in this department. And I noticed that you have multiple projects going on. Is it a possibility for me to be included in some of these projects as a team in the future? Because I really want to learn from others and I want to be able to really grow in the department. And let's see if that helps. Okay, somebody said break down walls and become more vulnerable. Okay, team is small. Okay, trusting employees and other people as well. I had no idea I was being laid off from other places and thought some people were, oh, okay, I got you now. Okay. So the person who asked the trusting question, so she said, she has difficulty trusting employers and other people because she had no idea that she was being laid off from either place and thought some people were her friends. And yes, many managers expect you know how without any onboarding. Okay, so there are two issues there. So trust is really trust has to be earned. Trust it's a very delicate I don't know what's the right word for it. Feeling is not exactly the vocabulary that I'm looking for, but trust has to be earned. It has to be earned both ways, and it's true. If you're being laid off and you feel like some people are your friends from that department or from those two places, and then you realize, oh, once you're laid off and they don't want to talk to you anymore, it's very, very tough. It's very tough. So let's see. So I would encourage you, maybe at so how do I trust again? Okay, so maybe to tackle this, you have to be vulnerable at the beginning. So let's say you land a new job, you're at a new company. So obviously it's going to take some time to get to know everybody. And I'm not suggesting that you walk up to the first person you meet and say, and be completely 100% vulnerable, right? But as you get to know people, maybe you can share some of your past experience and say, you know what, I was let go from two different places, and it was really difficult because I felt like some of these people that I had established friendship with were my friends, but then somehow it didn't really happen, when I got laid off. So now it's actually making it difficult for me to trust. And I really want to build a different kind of friendship at this new company. So, I'm, that's why I'm admitting vulnerability, and I'm hoping that I can, build friendship that can last even outside of the workplace. Let's just see what they say. The people who are willing to go there with you will say, oh, yes, I want that as well. And the people who don't want to go there with you will probably say, sorry. And then, okay, move on, right? Find the next person who will do it with you. Okay, so those who are chosen do not want to change protocol. Okay, so for people who don't really want to change the protocol, I would say you just have to maybe keep asking and keep asking and have the whole team ask and keep asking and keep asking and keep asking and maybe share this PowerPoint. I don't know. You just have to be able to change their thinking and their point of view, because like I said, you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. So if they don't have the awareness and if they don't realize that they have to change, then most likely they're not going to change, because we're scared to change as human beings. Nobody likes to change. But like some of you said, change is good. Change is better for the soul. Change is, by choice, not mandatory. All this great, chat that you put in the Q&A. So just keep trying, share this PowerPoint, and hopefully maybe that will help change their mind. Okay, the next one. What about incorporating what your perception is? It seems like there aren't opportunities to participate. I'm very interested in XYZ. What can I do to be considered? Yeah, perfect. This person's just typed what I said back in the Q&A. Great answer. How do you recommend navigating a new manager that has grand view to move forward and grow department with little understanding of what we do and how we do it. Okay. All right. So in this case, I would suggest having a meeting together, gather your team together, and meet with this new manager and explain, okay, we really truly appreciate your vision and we really want to get there with you as well. But we feel like it is important for you to hear from our point of view about what we do as a department and what we can achieve, so that you have a better understanding or better view of how we can do it together as a team. Okay, let's see if that helps. So trust has to be earned by virtue. Very true. Oh, somebody has a screen freeze. Okay, somebody said yes, share past experience. Very good. Okay, so when management was approached about the discrepancy in opportunities, they relate to the team it's small, and those not chosen for the specific projects have to do with the daily work of the department, and we chose the people who have the roles and access to do the job with little downtime. I'm not exactly sure I understand this question. Tracy, we don't mind typing again, maybe be a little bit more specific so I can address it better. Okay, so the next
Mellissa, just so you know, we have just about 4 minutes left. So
okay, let me just skim through this really quick. In the staff meeting, when it was my time to speak, I shared personal accomplishment. Both of them laughed. I felt, oh, they laughed. Okay, I'm very sorry to hear that. Well, if they laugh again, then tell them why you share it. Say, hey, I'm sharing this because, give them a reason. I don't know why they laugh. They shouldn't be laughing. Whatever state of mind they're in, people think whatever they want to think. Again, right? Be present. So kind of bring them back to the present moment and tell them why you share. That should help. Okay, so one more. How do you continue working with team members who make false EEO claims to prevent a promotion or give themselves advantage? Okay. Okay, so how do you prevent people from making false claims? It is very hard. You really cannot prevent people from doing whatever they want to do. The only thing you can do is address it. So if you do find out for a fact that people were making false claims, then you go to your manager, go to your supervisor, go to your team leader and say, okay, it's been made aware to me that somebody has been making false claims about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just want to tell you those things are not true. And these are my reasons or facts to back it up. So hopefully that will change. Okay, so I think I addressed pretty much all the questions, and let's wrap it up. So we've done this. Okay, so this is the last poll.
Yeah, so how have you found this holistic approach to solving problem? How useful has this been? Yeah, has it been useful? No, somewhat. So yeah, we just love to hear kind of your perspective on this approach, because it is very different. I think than how a lot of us have been trained, and I find it very exciting. I mean, I think this has been great. So yeah, would love to hear from you, kind of your perspectives. So while they're answering, Mellissa, I'm curious, what do you see, are there any particular common obstacles you think for folks, trying to wrap their head around this different approach? What makes, what are some of the obstacles people might find?
The obstacles are, I've been doing the same thing for, 30 years, 40 years. Why do I need to change? That's the most common thing.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. And while we're still just waiting for those last responses, I do want to thank Mellissa. This has just been an eye-opening session. I can't tell you enough just how fun it has been just to listen to this and to see all the interaction. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, somebody said I've been your favorite speaker today. Yay, thank you.
Yay!
I love hearing that.
That's great. And I also want to thank our 2023 NextGen Partner Alliance for helping us put on this NextGen Summit. Before you sign off today, do fill out that CP evaluation form so you can get that credit. And if you haven't already, do head over to the exhibit hall and check out the amazing booths before we head to our final keynote sessions. Those are going to be beginning at 3 o'clock. So please definitely head that direction. All right, so let's see our results.
Okay, great. We have 65% said yes. Oh, we have 0 no's. Yay! We
Yay! You've sold them. You've sold
that's
them.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that. So like I said, I have a reference material, Brené Brown's Vulnerability YouTube TED Talk here if you want to go and click on it later to listen to it. And I always just offer a free ebook. You don't have to take it. It's how to be a rock star on camera for your department, for, it's just some tips on if you have to go on camera to talk about how to, work better. You feel free to download that. And this is my contact. If you want to send me an email, feel free to do that. And then very lastly, I always end my, talk with a quote. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
Excellent. All right, so we already covered all the housekeeping items. So again, Mellissa, thank you so much. And everyone, just remember that the slide deck is available in the resource module here or in the resource center in the main environment. So be sure to download that. And just want to let you know that we will be emailing you a link to the entire day on demand. You'll be getting that tomorrow. So Mellissa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone, we'll see you at 3 o'clock for our closing keynotes.